Picture this. We're building the most powerful machines in human history, right? But somehow, we completely forgot to ask what they're actually for. Welcome to this explainer on Machine League. This is a totally new framework, basically a public intellectual arena, and it completely flips the global conversation around AI. Instead of just hyping up how powerful artificial intelligence is getting, Machine League forces us to ask a much bigger question. What exactly is all this power optimizing for? So let's dive right in and see how this works. We're looking at some of the biggest names on the planet: Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. These leaders have spent billions, literally billions of dollars, building the most massive computing infrastructure humanity has ever seen. We're talking top-tier engineers, mind-boggling computing power, and endless data. But as the source text points out, there's a huge, glaring omission here. Despite all of that money and all of that brain power, they haven't clearly answered one fundamental, unifying question. And that question is simply, what are they for? Think about it. These organizations have taken on unbelievable responsibility for a world-changing technology. But before we all obsess over who wins the AI race or who hits artificial general intelligence first, we really need to hit pause. We need to define what winning actually means for us, for humanity. If they're building the machine, they owe us an answer on what it should actually do. All right, moving to section 1, the unanswered AI question: capability versus objective.
See, right now, the AI industry is completely obsessed with optimizing capability. It's all about who has the smartest model, who had the highest benchmark, whose code is fastest. But we need to contrast that with optimizing the objective. Things like more human happiness, less suffering, and more abundance. Because here is the absolute crucial point. An extraordinarily capable intelligence that's pointed at the wrong objective, it can create an extraordinary amount of the wrong thing. We absolutely have to look past the technical benchmarks and focus on actual human outcomes.
So, Section 2, the Machine League Challenge, one prompt to rule them all. To fix this disconnect, Machine League is issuing a massive challenge to every single AI leader. It's asking them to take their huge 50-page safety charters and corporate missions and distill them down into one single testable sentence. Challenger number 1, Jonathan Finardi, stepped up and proposed his North Star for AI. It says, generate as much value for as many human beings as quickly as possible while using the least energy and resources possible. He threw down that exact prompt, basically inviting anyone from a megatech CEO to an everyday farmer to try and beat it.
Now, Section 3, Rules of the Arena, Blind Justice and the Clock.
Machine League is a brutally simple arena. Your company's valuation, your millions of followers, doesn't matter here. Only the ideas get to compete. It works through blind voting. Step 1, human judges read prompt A and prompt B. Step 2, they choose which mission should guide AI based entirely on the text. And step 3, only after voting do they discover who actually wrote the winning idea. It means everyday people get to evaluate these propositions and pick the best path forward, totally blind whether it was written by a billionaire founder or just an unknown member of the public.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Before the ideas even go head-to-head, there's a totally different competition happening, because absence is data. Just observing whether one of these AI leaders actually responds to the challenge is a huge metric on its own. Like, how long does it take you to answer one basic question about your trillion-dollar machine?
To keep track of this, Machine League uses a strict timeline. The clock starts ticking the exact second the invitation is sent. Every single response from a leader is timestamped, and this ticking clock leads straight to the first major settlement boundary on October 23, 2026. Fun fact, that happens to be Jonathan's 51st birthday. This creates some serious, unavoidable public accountability.
And all of this lives on a brutally straightforward public response board. It tracks exactly who was invited, if they responded, their exact response time, and their status. Whether a leader steps up in 4 hours or 40 days, or if they just stay totally silent and never respond, every outcome is recorded. There's no spin, no PR interpretation needed. The data literally tells the story, proving that reality eventually settles the record.
All right, Section 4. Extraction versus value circulation, the philosophical fight.
You know, this challenge is actually designed to be uncomfortable. It's bringing a massive philosophical disagreement about the future of our economy right out into the open. Jonathan's prompt argues for value circulation. Basically, that means maximizing useful value created and circulated through humanity. It prioritizes actual human benefit over just concentrating wealth.
The whole idea is that the tech should generate value and then distribute it across humanity, creating this incredible, repeatable loop of even more creation.
Now, contrast that with extraction. A lot of today's tech is built entirely on extraction, capturing your attention, hoarding data, locking up market share and revenue in a digital vault. But circulation is totally different. It's about creating value, circulating it, and enabling more creation. So we really have to judge. Do we want our AI guided by the old models of extracting and capturing from us, or do we want an objective that circulates real, useful value back to everyday people? And hey, if an AI leader thinks this framing is wrong, Machine League's response is simple. Great, submit a better one. Let's see it.
Moving into Section 5, the judgment economy, power back to people. So if we actually get this right, and AI makes creation super abundant by circulating value, what becomes scarce? The answer is specialized human judgment. Think about it. The doctor, the carpenter, the comedian, the teacher, the mechanic, the engineer, the parent. In this new judgment economy, specialized human judgment becomes literally the most scarce and valuable economic resource on the planet. Because everyone possesses some kind of specialized judgment from doing something incredibly well or, honestly, even just from surviving something. And this creates a far better role for AI. Instead of AI trying to replace every human who knows something, it starts with a human need. Step 1, human need. Step 2, AI acts as a super fast routing layer. Step 3, it instantly finds the specific human whose specialized judgment actually matters most to solve that exact problem. Step 4, reality and the records settle it. Did that judgment help? If yes, the routing gets even better next time. It's this beautiful compounding loop that elevates human judgment instead of erasing it.
Which leads us to the massive political and social core of this entire framework. What if humanity could judge directly? Right now, a tiny handful of centralized institutions decide what gets funded, what gets built, what goes viral. This framework flips that completely. It takes the power away from those few institutions and hands it straight back to everyday people. Not through some creepy engagement algorithm and not through a machine guessing what we want, but through actual declared human preference.
And to make absolutely sure this conversation cannot be ignored, Machine League is keeping the heat on. During its launch campaign, they are dropping 10 adversarial questions to pressure the industry. It's like a daily drumbeat. They'll be probing the really tough stuff. Who actually owns the value generated from our human data? What happens when a company's profit conflicts with human value? Should AI replace human judgment or help route it? Every single one of these 10 questions points right back to the main demand. AI leaders, show us your North Star. And that brings us to the end of this explainer, leaving us with the biggest question of all. Will they answer? Look, these leaders have spent years and billions of dollars building these incredibly complex machines. Giving us a single one-sentence prompt about what the machines are actually for, that should be the easiest thing they've ever done. The arena is built, the clock is ticking, so if the people building our future refuse to simply define what it's for, what does that actually tell us about their true objective?